we are live. Thank you everyone for joining us once again from the MetaStock temporary studio, otherwise known as my basement. I see some of you are already coming on. Hello, Gedege. I don't know how to say that name. I'm sorry. Hello, Vincenzo from Italy. Always good to see you. And as you're coming on, go ahead and make sure you say hello. Let us know where you're coming from. We always welcome that sort of interaction. Today's webinar, well, okay, you may have been expecting a webinar by Bobby Hiller. For scheduling reasons, it has now been made to, for scheduling reasons, it's no longer Bobby Hiller, it's now Dave Derricott. And who is no slouch. David Derricott is our veteran sales representative, one of the veteran employees of the company, knows more about MetaStock and trading than just about anybody in our company. Great guy. So just wanted to let you know that if you're coming on expecting to hear from Bobby Hiller, we apologize. There was a scheduling issue, and now today it's Dave Derricott. A couple of things, looking at my notes. Another thing to tell you is we have canceled our weekly market recap tomorrow, again, for scheduling reasons. We apologize. We won't be able to do that tomorrow, but we will pick it up again next week. Another thing I want to tell you about really quick, just a second, please. The Traders Summit. Every month we have a Traders Summit, and this month, this next one is September 19th. We haven't yet determined who all the speakers are going to be, but you can go to traders-summit.com. That's traders-summit.com and enroll now, and then we'll let you know as we know who the speakers are, so you don't have to worry about it later. So if that's something you'd like to do, we encourage you to do that now. All right, I also see now we have Bonder from, okay, I don't know if that's where you're from or, no, I don't know. Sorry, Bonder, I can't pronounce that name either. Thanks again so much for joining us today. Now, I do see Dave is on and he's ready, and I think, oh, one last thing I wanted to ask you to do is make sure you go ahead and subscribe to YouTube here on MetaStock. We have a lot of great videos, and when you subscribe and hit the little bell, then you're notified every time we get a new video. And we do about 2 to 3 live events a week, and we have a great library of recorded videos about just about everything. So if you go to youtube.com/metastock, excuse me, then you'll see this library, and you can do a search and find just about anything you want. Also, we're also available on Facebook, facebook.com/metastock. There we also do post a lot of our stuff about our videos and a variety of other things. So I think that's it. We got about 5 minutes till we start. I'm going to go ahead and check in with Dave and make sure everything's okay on that end. Go ahead again, make sure you say hello as you're coming on. Oh, by the way, do chat any questions you have during the presentation. Dave and I will both be monitoring chat, and we welcome any of your questions at any time. We may not answer them immediately, but we welcome them at any time, and then we'll answer them just as soon as we can. Okay, put myself on mute again and go back to Dave. We got... Okay, we should be starting in about 1 minute. I see a few more people have come on. Hello, hey, Dave Derricott, our presenter, is on with us here at on YouTube. Hello, Dave. And also we have Michael from New Zealand and Julio from, I don't know where Julio's from, but hello, Julio. Thank you for joining us. We got about another, I don't know, 56 seconds. So I guess I better get back over to Dave and make sure he's good to roll. Thanks so much for your patience, and thanks again for joining us today.
I can hear you.
I know you can hear me on that side, Dave. I'm talking about the folks here on YouTube. Now you can hear me, I bet.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, both on the YouTube and GoToWebinar side. Today's presenter is Dave Derricott. I've already mentioned to the fine folks on YouTube that he had to take the place of Bobby Hiller at the last second. But Dave's no slouch. He's one of our veterans. In fact, I'm going to take a second just now to. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble, Dave. I'm hearing myself in my own ear, so I have to take the headset off. I can't. It's driving me nuts. All right. So Dave Derricott is a fantastic presenter. He's a fantastic person. I've known him for about 15 years. He's been with the company. Let's see. He's been here about 2 months longer than me, so that's got to be about 15 years. I'm almost certain that Dave is one of the top. He's got to be in the top 3 to 5 sales representatives we've ever had at MetaStock. And the reason for that is not just because he's slick or smart, or, well, he is smart. It's because he's a genuine person that really helps. And we get a lot of great feedback. Whenever we get positive feedback about any of our employees here at MetaStock, it's shared with the whole company. And I have countless times seen positive feedback about Dave from our customers about how helpful and knowledgeable and genuine and great he is. And I know that's going to reflect in today's presentation, which is on MQ Trender Pro and how to quickly find the trends. So Dave, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Can everybody hear me?
We can hear you on this side, yeah.
Okay, great. I think we'll just go ahead and get started. First, we got to go through the disclaimer really quick. I'm not going to read the whole entire thing, but just the very top part here. So we'll go through this slowly and get going. This demonstration is designed to instruct you on using MetaStock and accompanying software, plugins, and is not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using these specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherited in trading. MetaStock shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of their software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with the company. The bottom part is for the risk of standard options. Now that we actually do provide option data within MetaStock, we have to put that as part of the CFTC Rule 4.41. So with that, I just want to give a little bit of a background again myself. Like Greg said, we've been here for coming on 16 years. I believe it's my 16th year this September, so next month. It's been a wild run. We basically started with, for those that have been with MetaStock for a while, we started with the version 8, basically the transition from 8 to version 9. Now we're all the way up to 17, and it couldn't have been a better transition. Definitely really enjoy working here. It's a great company. I haven't, like I say, have been here for quite some time and thoroughly have enjoyed it, seeing all the new products and the new add-ons and everything like that. So, but anyway, yeah, a little bit about myself. Been married with one daughter, have two little dogs, and enjoying life thoroughly. And even during quarantine, still trying to do our best here. But let's go ahead and just dive into the program and the MQ Trender Pro. I'm hoping that everybody can learn something from this. If you are interested, at the end, we'll give you some good offers, and if you want to get that as far as your MetaStock arsenal, or if you're new to MetaStock, we have some great trials.
Hey, Dave.
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to point out it's tragic that your camera's not working today, because I wanted to point out you're also very handsome. Man.
Yeah,
everyone's missing a whole lot of handsome today.
Well, hopefully my next one will be able to display my handsomeness.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll continue on real quick here. So like I said, we're going to talk about MQ Trender Pro. I'm not one of the presenters that likes to go through a lot of PowerPoints. I just like to show you a little box version of it, and kind of show you a little bit of what comes with it, and then we'll dive right into MetaStock. So first off, I actually wanted to give a background of the developer. We have this program was actually created by a company called Microquant. If anybody that has purchased some of our add-ons, yeah, they have another one called Value Charts, but it's based on different momentum indicators. But they have kind of like a boot camp base camp trading that they train people how to trade, and what they use as indicators and different things for their trading education and style is this system. It's called like I mentioned before, it's called the MQ Trender Pro. But he has been trading for 15 years using these exact indicators. He teaches people how to trade. He trades both personally and professionally. They actually used to be and are now currently still a hedge fund manager. Started his career as a wealth management firm, created a hedge fund at the age of 26, and eventually started as head trader at Microquant. So like I mentioned, he's got years of experience in the trading world and has been very successful by using these different momentum indicators and everything that is built into MetaStock. On top of just the indicators themselves, we actually have implemented the ability to scan the market to find different buy and sell opportunities with their indicators as well. So that is one thing that MetaStock supersedes a lot of other programs out there. With that being said, giving you the background of the developer, let's just go ahead and dive right into MetaStock. No need to delay any further. So for everybody that is a MetaStock user, as you know, you open up your charts through the Power Console, and that's where you'll do most of your scanning, back testing, etc. So let's just go ahead and open up a few charts. If anybody, Greg, wants me to open up specific symbols, if you'll go ahead and just tell me those. I'm watching the go-to webinar. I'm not seeing anything, but I'll type in a few that I want to look at. And if anybody has any others, let me know. So when you go in and type in, there's a couple ways of opening charts in MetaStock. In this case, I just typed it in right here, which is the easiest way to do it if you know the symbol. Just one point I like to make to everybody when I do these presentations is the reason why I'm putting a .o at the end is because Facebook, and in this case Novax, is actually traded on other exchanges outside of the NASDAQ, but we want to look at the one that is the NASDAQ exchange for the US markets, so that's why I put a .o at the end. That's just kind of a rule of thumb. The reason the other ones don't have that is because they are an ETF and they're traded on the New York and the Amex exchange. The other way you can open up charts, if maybe you have a selected list set up inside of MetaStock, you can go in and expand that list out and kind of click through each individual stock that you want at one at a time, or you can open them all at once, depending on how many charts you want. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and down here on the bottom right, just click on Open Charts. Before I do that, let me kind of back up a tiny bit. Over here in the MetaStock Power Console, you basically can do everything you can here when you're opening up the charts. I don't need to open my chart first and then apply the Microquant add-on to my charts. So I can just come over here and just click Apply Template. And in this case, I'm going to open up this black chart. They've got different types of charts on here. They've got MWD, which is monthly, weekly, daily, or this one is WD, that's weekly and daily, or you have just your plain regular one chart, which is daily. And in this case, I kind of like the background a little better with their black chart. So we'll just do the one chart, which comes up on a daily. The point I do like to make before I even open up the chart is you can use this with any type of time frame. You're not stuck to just using the daily time frames. That's just what they created and like to use with their trading methods. But if I'm an intraday trader and I want to look at like a 5-minute chart or a 1 minute, I can just come down here and I'll go ahead and click on where it says interval right here where it has daily. And then I've got access and available to change my charts to any of these intraday time frames. If I do want to change it to a different one, and let's say we want to do a 3-minute chart, you can come down here and click on custom, and we'll use the the minute option here, and then we can change this to like a 3 or a 35-minute or whatever you want to do. I'm just going to leave things at the default for right now. So we'll switch that back to daily. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on open chart here. Okay, so you kind of see they're overlaid by each other, so it's kind of like a messy view. So we'll just go ahead and up here on the top right corner, I can click on tile view, and that'll organize these charts a little bit better for us. So now I can zoom in by just clicking on the plus sign down here. And so what they do with microquant or over at microquant, they use like a neutral, bearish and bullish kind of time or kind of trend. And what he always explains in his webinars is the trend is your friend. So I'm going to flip back really quick to my PowerPoint because I want to go over that just a little bit before I go into the MetaStock charts. So what they've done is they've really created like a color coding. So you're looking at the overall underlying trend of the particular stock or option or whatever you look at. So you've got a very strong bearish, which let's flip back over to MetaStock. So if you're looking at a strong bearish, this is kind of hard to see just because we're so bullish right now. But if you come over here, you'll see this very strong entry for a bearish signal. Or on the flip side, you've got a very strong entry for the bullish down here, or sorry, up here. And where you see these little like gray areas, those are your neutral positions where you haven't necessarily gotten out of the trade, but you're not necessarily, you're basically tightening up your stops is how Thomas talks about it during his webinars. So again, you've got your very strong bearish, your strong neutral, and your strongly bullish. And then you have your neutral bearish, which gives you like kind of that lighter red or lighter green on the chart. I think it'll probably be a little easier if I do this instead. That way we can look at it at a little better view. So you have your neutral bearish and bullish that are also painted on the chart. This would be a neutral bearish position. And then down here, you know, as you go on, you've got your long trailing stop or your neutral bullish and bearish. So just kind of different ways of painting the charts is what they've done. So it actually works quite well. So then you've got your strong neutral as you see over here. And then on top of that, we have our neutral bullish as well. So it's just the different ways of how they've color coded the charts to help you see if it's a really strong bearish position for shorting or a really strong bullish position for going long. And then on top of that, you've got your special colors, your extended bullish and extended bearish. So like I mentioned down here, you see these little gray bars where those are your neutral bearish, your extended bullish and bearish. And then that's kind of a different way of really helping you understand, okay, well, this is kind of neutral bullish. So should I get in? Should I stay in? Should I exit out of my trades? And you can see how well this worked. This particular add-on, or sorry, this particular stock is Novavax. They're one of the testers for the new COVID vaccine, and they also were a developer and a manufacturer of face masks in the beginning. But the other thing that I always like to show with MetaStock, and not a lot of users know about this feature within the software. It is something that's very powerful and also very helpful to use when you're looking at any charts. Doesn't matter if you have an add-on or anything that it comes with. So what I like to use a lot with my presentations and also my trading is our commentary window. And the way to access that, I'm going to go ahead and just right click on the chart, come down here where it says Expert Advisor, and then we'll click on Commentary. And then what that does is it opens up this little side window. And this tells you exactly if you need to be strong bullish, if you're strong bearish, if you're just neutral bearish, or if you're extended bearish or bullish, where your exits need to be set at as well. So this is, right now, you're currently in a neutral position. If you look down here under the MQ Trender Pro 2, that's what the MTP2 signal means. You're in a long exit. So you've had a good run up right now. You're in a long exit, so you should be out of that trade at this point in time. And I am working with live data, so you'll probably see my charts tick up and down. This one doesn't have a ton of volume today. So, but if we actually switch this over into a 5-minute, we can look at and see how that works as well. So as everybody knows, you're going to have different charts and different trends based on the time frame that you're looking at. The daily charts is going to show you a better overall trend, whereas your shorter time frames like this 5-minute chart, in this particular example, you're going to see a lot more shorting. And that's why the daily chart showed a exit signal, but your 5-minute chart is giving you your strong bearish position. So you should be shorting at this point in time as well. And during the day, this last trading day, you had some trailing stops come in, like right here at about 2:05 Eastern. You're getting some trailing stops and then also an actual exit signal. And then you have another short entry as well. So as you can see, this actually works really well with this particular stock. And it's just all based on different momentum indicators. They've done a lot of programming, and on top of what you get within MetaStock, which is very, very powerful, is your commentary window. So that's just something that I just really like. Let's kind of back up a little bit. If we go back over here, which I believe would have been our, the 1230 bar. And if we go ahead and put our commentary window, all I have to do is just click above there and it'll put our commentary, what we call caret, right at these short entry. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit for everybody so we can see a little more clearly here. It's not so bunched together. Okay, so right now we're at a strongly bearish with the Novax ink. Currently strongly bearish, indicating that we are likely to move lower. This can indicate that Novax will continue to move lower. So watch for signs that may be losing energy and moving back to neutral or to bearish or neutral. So that's really detailed, really good way of using the add-on. And you really want to make sure that you do have that commentary window open, because once you actually get that signal, let's just point this over here. It's going to put a blue line there. I want to make it a little bit thicker if I can for everybody. There we go. So this was our short entry at 12:25 today. And you can see right as soon as you got that short entry, just move it over a tiny bit, you got your switch over to the bearish position. So you're going to be shorting at that point. It's a very good way. So you want to kind of use both the MQ momentum indicator and also the commentary window, and obviously the bars are already automatically painted on the charts. So it's definitely something that works really well. So let's kind of click off that chart. We don't need to save changes or anything like that, but let's go back to our other charts that we had just so we can kind of see how well this worked with others. So this is our diamond, the Spider Industrial Average ETF. And I'm on a daily chart right now. Right now, we are still in a bullish position. You had a long entry and then you had a trailing stop right here, but then you still turn back over to a strong bullish position. So you should still be in this trade at this point in time. But if you're more of a conservative trader like myself, once I get my trailing stop indicator, a lot of the times I will exit. Just kind of depends on how aggressive you really want to be. And this one definitely is identifying your trailing stop. So you could definitely set that up, set a trailing stop for yourself, and then kind of see where to go from there as new data comes in. And this works for both end of day and also real time. But let's go ahead and change this over to a 30-minute chart. I kind of like to look at 30-minute and daily charts. Those are kind of my go-tos. So at this point, we had gotten in. I actually had some really, let's go ahead and put our commentary window over there. So in this case, we had a neutral to bearish position. And then as we kind of move along, we can easily just update that commentary window to move to our other bars that we've got on here. So it's currently a neutral to bearish, indicating that we are likely to move lower. This can indicate the spider will continue to move lower. Watch for signs of the spider or the SPY maybe losing energy and moving back to neutral. So you definitely want to pay attention to those. If we go back to our PowerPoint, you can see really quick here. Let's just open that back up so we'll know what we're looking at. So your neutral bearish is when you see those kind of orange looking bars. That's your neutral. Your strong bearish is your bright reds. So just make sure to pay attention to those. Those are the ones that you want to be careful with because the trend could be changing and you could start to lose money on that trade. So you want to make sure that you're following those rules and understanding those different colors on the charts. And then, so again, like right now, you basically should be out as it's a short exit. So if we just flip back over to that bar right now, it's got a strong neutral, which indicates a short exit out of your current trade. So it does help you definitely identify those entry and exits, your trailing stops, your neutral positions. It just is a really good add-on to help you understand how to trade with it. And again, he's been trading this way and using the software for 15 plus years and also helping people how to trade as well. So with that being said, I mean, the colors on the charts, you can kind of see how that all works. You've got your trailing stops, your neutrals, your strong bullish, your strong bearish. The one thing that I like to always show inside of MetaStock is that commentary window. It's a very strong part of the add-on that we created, and it did take a lot of development to get to where it is. But that being said, the question is like, okay, great. You know, I have my set of stocks that I like to use. How do I really know if that or which ones are best to look at, or how do I scan to find the best trades based on this add-on? So what we can do is we can come over here to the binoculars icon here, which is our Explorer app. And we'll go ahead and just click on that. And then we'll open up our Power Console. That'll automatically take me to the Explorer, and it does show the very last exploration I did. But what we want to do is we want to look for some bullish entries. So right here, I've got the MQ Trender Pro. Before I even go and start a scan, I want to show everybody one little trick in MetaStock. For those that use MetaStock and those that don't, you'll kind of see how this works. So we come down here to the M's. So we can do the bearish, we can do bullish. Right now, I'm going to do some searches for bullish. So you could do a bull surge. You could do just a bull entry. These are all your bears, and then here's your bulls. So in this one, we're actually going to do I want to make sure I find the new one. Here we go. So we're going to do this one. We'll go ahead and just click on that. But if I want to add all of these into my favorites folder, you can come over here and just right click on the exploration and choose add to favorites. So now if I scroll back up here, you'll see that I've got two of them instead of just the one. I've already clicked it below, so I don't need to click it again right here. But then let's go ahead and just grab a list over here. So I've actually downloaded my data, so I'm not having to connect to our server to run scans. You can run scans based on any time frame if you want to. I am just going to do scans based on daily data because that's the type of data that I've downloaded. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just click on the S&P 500, and it states it right here that we're going to scan on the MQ Trender Pro to bull new long entry. So this is going to search for anything that you see an L entry on the charts, for example, right here. And then I'm going to scan on the S&P 500. Because this does have a lot of calculations in the background, it will take a little bit of time. I'm not going to take a ton of time because we only have about a half hour left. Shouldn't be too long though. I want to make sure I may have accidentally chose more than just the S&P 500. Give me just a minute here. Sorry about the delay. I seem to have some problems when I do sharing during these webinars. Might have to kill MetaStock and then restart it. It shouldn't take too long, but let me see if I can get it to close here for just a minute. Yep, let me hurry and kill it really quick. And I don't want to make this delay any longer. Won't take very long to boot it back up.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, let me go ahead and address some questions we've been getting on.
Yep, go ahead.
So, sorry, I have to take my headset off. Where shall I begin? Gadeje was wondering if this is available in TradingView. I mentioned to him it's not. This software is available on probably 5 or 6 platforms. Of course, we recommend you use MetaStock, and I would like to point out that Dave will have a really, really great offer for how you can get this indicator as well as MetaStock at the end of this presentation. Additionally, someone, Chiru, keeps on, sorry, Chiru, I'm sure I'm massacring your name, keeps on asking, or has asked if this is being recorded. I should have mentioned, we record all the webinars right here on YouTube, and the way you can watch it is just come right back here to YouTube where you're watching it now. In fact, you could literally rewind it right now and start listening from the beginning. We don't encourage you to do that because it's better than watching it live. But anyway, Dave, if you're ready to go, I'll hand it back to you.
It's come back up. I'm actually going to do a little bit smaller list to see if I can make that a little better because it has so many calculations and my computer's kind of been running slow lately. So let me try that again. Okay, so we're just going to do 29 this time. There we go. And as you can tell, the scanning does run a little slower. My computer has had some issues, so I'm sure for those that have a little more powerful computer, it'll run a little quicker, but I wanted to shorten the list. Unfortunately, it looks like we are getting 100% rejected on there, which is why I wanted to do the S&P 500. So we'll try that again and see if we can get that to give us some results, but it does look like I'm getting 100% rejects. Yeah, that does do that. So let's try. I'm gonna try a different list, see if I can, I just kind of want to show how the reports look is what I'm looking for. Let's try the S&P 500 again, but I don't want to do the entire thing. Let's just run, see if I can choose an entire list. Yeah, I have to do one by one. Okay, let's just try it again and we'll see if we can get some results if it doesn't take so long. Ooh, we can do local. Local. Okay, that seemed to work a little better. And like I say, it does take a little longer. So once I see that there's a couple that have not been rejected on this, so then I'll kill the exploration. And while that's running,
And while you're waiting for this to run, you might explain what local data is.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say that. The reason why I mentioned local data for those, especially for our end of day users, this actually works is quite good, because what it does is you can download the data that it's saved to your hard drive, so you don't have to be online and connected to our server in order to run any kind of scans and back test. In this case, because there are a lot of really complex calculations, it takes a little longer, but if it was online data, it'd be taking even longer. For a lot of them, like when I like to scan on different price action and volume, looking for specific time frames, and if the price is below or above like 25 or between 5 and 30, etc., it runs quite quickly, just because they're simple calculations. But because they are pretty complex, it does make it run a little bit slower. There's only a couple add-ons out there that do this. Most of the time it's pretty quick. But yeah, so like I said, you can use inside of MetaStock, you have the option to go in and download your data through our downloader program. I don't want to launch it because I'm just afraid it'll take it even longer to run our scan. But yeah, basically it allows you to download that data so you can open up your charts faster, run back tests and scans and things like that. It just goes a lot quicker, and I do highly recommend it, especially if you're an end-of-day user, and especially if you don't have that great of an internet connection. Sometimes you're in areas that you don't have, fiber or Comcast or CenturyLink or whatnot, and you have to use a slower internet connection. It is definitely very, very good idea to download your data first. Yeah, it does look like it's rejecting every single one of them. But while that's running, Greg, yeah, are there any symbols that anybody wants me to look at? I can definitely still open some charts while this is running.
I don't see any symbol requests. Samit Roy came on and said he wanted to say hello. He mentioned he's already purchased this. He just wants to learn more about it. I assume he's one of your customers, Dave, since he pointed you out directly.
Yep.
No, I don't see any symbol requests, but I'm always curious to know how RCL is doing since I have a position in it.
Oh, yeah, it is. It actually has done very well for the last few months. I'll point that out while this is running, that we've actually been running a really good offer on this particular add-on, which is why we're spotlighting it today. And I definitely highly recommend checking it out. It is a really good add-on. It's done quite well. It is a very successful and good tool, as you kind of saw by the charts that I showed. But that's why I asked if there's anybody that wants me to look at any other symbols outside of the ones that I've already showed. We're about halfway done, and it does look like there are some that have come up as meeting the criteria. I'm just going to let it run, so it's not, so that way we have more than just one or a few symbols. So
Yeah, they're being a little shy over here on symbol requests. Don't be shiny, man.
I guess I scared them off.
And I don't see any symbol requests on the GoToWebinar side either. Here we go. Sam came through. He wants to see some currency pairs.
Okay, cool. Does he know like
Australian dollar and USD?
Sorry?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
No, is it the euro or the pound, or which symbol does he want to look at?
Yeah, Australian dollar, USD.
Okay.
And German, GPB or GBP.
That would be Great British Pound.
Yeah, Great British Pound, excuse me, and Australian dollar.
So we'll just go ahead and type in our symbols here. For Forex, you always type in GBP and AUD with an equal sign at the very end of them. And then we'll just come down here. I'm going to use a daily chart, MQ-MTP2. Again, if you missed it, it stands for Micro or MQ Trender Pro or Micro Quant Trender Pro. And then we'll just go ahead and click on Open Chart. So that opened up the pound. Let's go back here and open up the euro.
Oh, actually, Dave, I think the first one was Australian dollar and USD.
That's the same thing as AUD. Sorry.
Oh, excuse me.
No, you're fine. I was like I say, I was having my computer definitely has some issues when sharing. I don't know why. Seems to run fine any other day. But of course, when I'm sharing it seems to slow way down. And that scan's running as well. Okay, so let's try the Australian dollar. See if we can get that typed in. Scan is almost done, and then it'll free up some resources on my PC. So I apologize for everybody for the slowness of the charts there. Let me exit out of this really quick. See if we can there. Hopefully we can get things going. Okay. Come on. Okay. So then we'll come over here and open chart. Like I say, it was running the scan at the same time, and it does take up a lot of resources there with this particular add-on. So we've got the the pound, Great British Pound and the US dollar, and also the Australian dollar. So let's kind of back up here a little bit. If we come back here, you had a long entry, and then you had your trailing stop. So if we open up our commentary window, let's come over here and see what our trailing stop said. Oops. Sort of advisor commentary. At this point, you didn't necessarily have to get out of that trade, but you definitely could have. This is actually a pretty perfect one with the pound. So, but let's go back over to our Australian dollar. Okay, so you would have got in right here. Let's put our little cursor there. So you have a strong, neutral to bullish forex on the Australian dollar. It's currently neutral to bullish, indicating that we are likely to move higher, which it did a little bit, and then it kind of dropped down, which is where our trailing stop would have came in. That's why it has L trail, which means a long trailing stop. So it's currently pulling back for a bullish extreme and presenting a golden bar. Indicates a pullback, typically after a strong bullish move. When encountering, and the thing that I like about this, I'm reading it word for word just because I like to show everybody, it just gives you so much detailed information. So that's the really power tool of all of our add-ons, is making sure that you've got that commentary up and running, because it does give you everything that you need in order to identify and understand how these particular colors, the trailing stop, the long exits, the long entries, so on and so forth. So when you encounter a golden bar, it's trying to assess whether this is a temporary pullback or if it's signaling the end of the current run. And then it just goes into one way to manage it is to watch how the following bars react. If they start to continue in the original trend direction, indicating just a temporary pullback, then you can stay in the trade. So in this example, if this had started to go down farther, then you would have exited out of that trade. So you could come over here and maybe you want to do a trailing stop, I don't know, 2%, or you want to have the program get you, or sorry, you want the trade execution to take you out of that if the price goes below this current bar's low, is how I would set it. But in this case, it actually reversed back on us and gave us a really nice uptrend right here. So as long as the prices start to reverse and pull back up into a bullish position, you'd stay in the trade. And that's how you treat those golden bars, or the L trail, long trailing stop in this particular case. And the same thing again. Came up, you got here right up the peak there, and you came back down for a pullback, which gave you a long trailing stop indication, but it only is going to get you out of the trade, or you should only get out of that trade if that continued with its current trend. It didn't. It reversed back and went back up again. And it did that quite a few times. So if you started over here, you would have made quite a bit off that particular move. Granted, this is on a daily chart, so it is a little more longer term. But if you are a long-term trader, even with the Forex market, still would have done well. Let's actually do a little test and switch this over into a 30-minute chart. Now, as you all know, the 30-minute is going to be a little bit more reactive. You're going to have a lot faster moves, but that's how the Forex market is. Again, right here, this is kind of a perfect area, which identified your long entries. You had a little bit of a trailing stop, didn't continue on a down, on a bearish on a bearish trend. It continued back up to go bullish, did a little of a pullback, went back up, and finally got out on this particular bar. And I always get the question with a lot of these add-ons, it's like, well, I don't really like bars, I like candlesticks. Well, you can just come over here, double click, and change it from bars to candlesticks. That's how MicroQuant created it and like to have their type of charting style, but you can change it to whatever you want. And you can also resave the template. So when you open up the template, it opens up with this, with the candlesticks versus bars. So there's another good way of identifying those trends, making sure you're paying attention to the commentary window and identifying your short exits, your long exits, and if it's just a trailing stop for either long or short, making sure that it's going to continue or that it is a true stop. Otherwise, you'd want to stay in that trade to capitalize on that extra money. So that's the Australian dollar. And let's just flip back over to the British pound. Our scan is actually complete here. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of talk about this particular chart. And then I'll flip over to the scan to explain the exploration results. So in this particular case, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to change it again to candlesticks. I really do like candlesticks over bars. Sometimes I go a little too quick. If those that missed that, all you have to do is just double click on any of the bars, come over here to the drop down. I'll go ahead and click on that. You can change it to bars, candlestick, candles volume, line, cake, point figure, whatever you want to do. We'll just leave it here on the candlesticks. So we'll go ahead and just put our little cursor there for the commentary window on this last long entry. And again, we'll just come down here to our highlight. What that means, we're in a bullish position. So we're going to be going long. We've got a very strong bullish. You can tell by the color of the candlesticks. They're very bright colored. You're not neutral. You don't have any yellow golden bars for trailing stops or anything. And then you've got your actual signal right here for the MQ Trender Pro. You've got a long entry, which has been signaled, indicating that this may be a possible long entry. And I like how they use the word possible, because we're not always going to take every single signal out there. You definitely want to take precaution. You want to use appropriate money management and account management as well. But yeah, so basically you could get into this on a bullish trade, stay in until it signifies either a exit or a long entry or a long trailing stop. So in this case, you had a really good uptrend here. It's actually a really perfect move. And then you had a little bit of a pullback, wasn't quite a stop indication. And then you are right now currently still in that trade because it went back up into the bullish trend. Let's actually take this over into a 30-minute chart and see how that does. Okay, actually this is a pretty good one, this very last one we had. So this is a 30-minute today at 3:30 or 3:30 local time. You had an entry, long or bearish in this particular verbiage that we'll use. Long entry, staying in the trade. You had a little bit of a neutral to bullish. So we were neutral a little bit over here, not really much going on, deciding if we're going to consolidate or kind of move on either direction, either back to, continue bearish or move back over to bullish. In this case, we went back to bullish. And right now on this current candlestick that we're looking at, it's actually a quite bright candlestick, which means a strong bullish. You had a long entry, which has been signaled as well, indicating that it's maybe possible opportunity for a long trade. So it, like I say, this is actually, and here's a really good one right here. This would have been a perfect move. And again, this is a 30-minute chart. You can trade Forex with any time frame, as you are all well aware with any type of market. You could use it with 1 minute, 5, 30, daily, weekly, monthly. If you're a long-term investor, I would recommend using it for weekly, which is also why they created those templates for a daily, weekly, and monthly. But they're all really pre-built in there for you. And that's the nice thing with this add-on, and why it's very simple, easy to use. There really is not much to understand. You don't have to understand every type and every little detailed. It does come with about a 90-page manual, so you can go over the different types of rules and different settings that you can use, what comes with it, how you interpret everything, different things like that. Let's go over real quick and actually just look at our results here. So we ran 505 stocks on the S&P 500 using the long or bold new long entry. So what I can do, before I do that, I'm going to close out the Forex pairs. And then we're going to open up all of these charts. So all I did to open these up is I just hold down my shift key, click the top, and then go down and click the very bottom one. That highlights all of them. I'm going to go ahead and just click over here on the right side and open chart. And this is something new that's, this is a new feature to version 17. For those that are not using version 17, I would definitely recommend upgrading. Plus, this add-on does only work with the current version. Once those charts are open, I'm going to go ahead and close out the exploration results. Looks like we got those all open almost. And again, it does take a little bit of more time opening. I usually don't have this problem when I'm opening them, and it is because my computer is using a lot of resources as far as, as far as the data, or sorry, the resources, just because I'm sharing right now. Okay, so right now we actually are in a bullish position. I just want to double check. I've been having some issues with my data, so yeah, it looks like we are good. So on this one, you had some long entries. As you can kind of look at the trend themselves, you're looking at, we've got the Johnson & Johnson, we've got Alliant Energy, Kroger, and Xcel Energy. So let's just hop back over to this one. This is actually a really good trend right here. So what it did, it looked for any long positions, I believe, in the last week, but it also looks for current positions as well. I do want to, the one thing I want to double check to make sure I did, and I could have fouled things up. I do apologize if I did. No, I was right. I was using the current exchange date and time. So, whoops, sorry, I'm on the Explorer tab here. Let's go and flip over to that to make sure I did this correct. Yeah, so I do apologize, everybody. I was using a specific time frame or specific day, which was the 14th. I was doing some testing, but the example is the same. So if we go back onto the 14th of July, which was this particular one, had I been running some scans, I wouldn't have found this particular one, but I wanted to check that because I didn't see any current signals. So, but it does look at the last 1250 periods. In this particular case, because I just ran it on a specific date, that does bring up a good point that you can scan on just, maybe you want to scan on yesterday's date or last week's. You can set a specific date instead of using today's bar. Most of the times I'm going to run on today's candlestick or bar in this particular case. But if we go and put our little handy dandy carrot here, we're in a long entry, but on the 14th, I realize this is past data, but I still wanted to show you the example. We're in a very strong bullish based on that current entry signal. And as you can see, this is kind of a good example because that was our very last long entry. And at this point, you're in the trade. You might actually get out because we just got a long trailing stop, and it is starting to go down. So it's going into that bearish area. So if you want to get out, then that would definitely be your decision there. But yeah, so it found a really good long entry. You had a good run, bullish run there. Commentary window definitely held true. This is a long entry that has been signaled, indicating that this may be a possible long entry opportunity, which it definitely was. So go ahead and just close out of that chart. We'll just look at one other one. So again, back on the 14th, I believe it was this one right here. Yep. So Johnson & Johnson gave us a long entry opportunity. It definitely changed from a neutral to a bullish, so a very strong bullish in this case. And then we got a trailing stop indication, which we could have gotten out maybe, or maybe you want to stay in for a little bit. Not sure if it's going to reverse, but it did start to go back into a exit is where you would have gotten out. But the very next bar, you got back in and are still into a strong bullish. So definitely a good area of trading right there. Same thing down here on the 14th of July, we had a very good bullish uptrend. This is Alliant Energy for those that missed the symbol there. So we got an entry right here. We moved from a neutral to bullish, which is one of the colors on here. These aren't at first I kind of confused myself with all these are exits, and that's not the case. You kind of want to make sure you, and this is also why I recommend to make sure you have the the commentary window up, because if you don't, you may think these are exit bars where they're not. They're neutral. And so when you move from a neutral to a long entry or neutral to a bullish, that is a really good indication that the trend is changing. Trend is your friend, as Thomas likes to talk about, and you are moving in an upwards trend, which does give you the possibility of getting into a long position. So it moved from a neutral bullish into a very strong bullish, and then you got your trailing stop here. Didn't continue downward, went back up, so you still would be in the trade at this point. And if you're a conservative trader and you see these trailing stops come in on that chart, and you can definitely get out and save the money that you could have lost a little bit right here, but then it reversed. So it is obviously all these trading signals and exit signals are based on your decision. All we are doing is giving you the tools and the opportunity to get into these trades, but you are really the one that makes that decision to get in, get out, those sorts of things. So it is a really, really good add-on, like I mentioned. Hopefully those are some good examples on how you can see on showing you how this add-on works, how you can use it with your particular trading. It, as I mentioned, it does work with any market. It doesn't matter if you are using end of day. This is all end of day data that I've been looking at these last 4 charts. But you could do real time, like I showed you. I can do Forex. We could do futures. It's actually populated future at symbol, and see if we can look at that. So this is the S&P E-mini 500, very heavily traded symbol. Here's a perfect example. We would have gotten in on this trade. We're just looking at daily data right now, so we would have gotten in on this trade on the 29th, and we would have stayed in until we see that trailing stop right here. Possible that it's going to be going down, but it could also just have a little bit of a pullback and continue up going bullish. Let's change this over to a 30-minute or 10-minute. Actually, let's do 10 minutes. I know a lot of my traders that like to trade using the S&P, they like to do 10 and 30 and 5 minutes. In this case, we'll just do a 5-minute. So we had a long entry back here on today at 9 a.m. Had a neutral bullish, so it wasn't a very strong bullish, but then it came back down. You have your trailing stop indicator. Let's go ahead and repopulate that commentary window there. So you've gotten a golden bar, meaning that there is currently a pullback from the bullish extreme, presenting a golden bar. This means or indicates a pullback. So you could get out at that point in time, or you can stay in and see if that reverses, which it definitely did. So it was just a tiny bit of a pullback there, and then we continued on. Now we're back into a strong bullish, hit a trailing stop again. Again, we already explained how to treat those. Had a little bit of a downtrend, and now we're back up. So it is a great add-on to keep you in those particular trades, so you're not giving back everything that you just made. And it does, and I can't reiterate it enough. It does work with all time frames. It's a great little add-on. Took probably about almost 3 years to program, so definitely was a lot of work to put into it. So yeah, that's in a nutshell the entire add-on. It's all based on momentum and also the work of the MQ render momentum indicator, which is this one down here, the MQ momentum. So you've got your scanning, you've got your experts, your highlights on the charts and different things like that. Let's hop back over to the PowerPoint really quick so I can show you exactly what is included. And the last part I didn't show on this is you got your trailing stop, bullish and bearish. Those are those yellow golden bars. What's included in the MQ Trender Pro? Your indicators, as you saw on the chart, you've got your Pro 2.0, neutral, you've got your average true range. These are all indicators that are automatically put on the chart. Your MQ momentum, those are all the indicators that are on the bottom part of the chart down here. And then you've got your expert advisor highlights, your color coding, as you saw, your signals, your ribbon. When we say ribbon, we mean this part down here where it shows bullish. You've got your alerts, which you do get pop-up alerts as signals come in. I didn't have any pop-up. because we didn't have any new signals. You've got your bullish explorations, your bearish explorations as well. So scanning, your experts, your indicators are all included, and it's exactly what they show. You've got a couple different templates. You've got a user guide as well that come with this add-on. When it has here on the MTP2, that's just one chart. Let me actually just go back and show you. I'll right-click on the chart, choose Apply Template. Click down here where it says MQ. And these are just single charts right here. When you see the when you see just black and white, those are just single charts. But right here where it has MWT, that's monthly, weekly, daily, or monthly, weekly, daily, white, weekly, daily, black, weekly, daily, white. And then where it has just white or just black, that's just one single chart. So we've created it for any type of user. You can also recreate your own based on this. You don't have to use what's just pre-built in there. A lot of the times that's what I like to do. So if you want to get started with the MetaStock add-on, you can purchase it. Normally it's $1,500 as you see there. Webinar attendees do get it for $9.95. However, if I was given special permission, if you are a current 17 user, you can get it for $7.99, and that's a one-time cost for life. It does come with our unconditional 30-day money-back guarantee. If it does look like something you'd like to use, all you'd need to do is just contact me directly. My phone number is right there. Or you can chat with me via our sales chat and just make sure you ask for Dave there. So I just wanted to also give my contact here. You've got my email, my 800 number, and you can also use our sales chat if you'd like to learn more information on MetaStock as a new maybe investigator, seeing if MetaStock is the right tool for your trading. You can find out more at metastock.com/Dave Derricott. I do want to give a big thanks to everyone for taking an hour of your time out of your busy schedules to spend some time with me and learning a little more about our add-on. Like I said, if you are interested in either MetaStock or trying out this add-on, let me know, and I will definitely help you out with getting set up. Are there any questions that I can answer for you? We've got about 5 minutes.
I don't see any, Dave. There was a few more. I think you missed a similar request, but
I can show it. We've got time.
Looking for it now. Oh, DJ wanted to look at ES, which is I think that's Equus. What is that? That's the
ES is the C1. That's that one that I just showed. The
Eversource. Oh, okay.
S&P 500 E-mini.
All right, and then NQ, which I think I can't recall if you showed.
That's the NASDAQ E-mini. So open this one up on a daily chart to start out with. Right now we don't have any current signals, but you can kind of see how well this would have done if we would have started back here on the April 14th. This is definitely a long trade. You had a neutral bullish position. At this point, it did signal an entry point. And then as you kind of follow the trend along, as you say, the trend is our friend. You had a trailing stop. If the prices had continued to fall, you would have gotten out of that position, but they didn't. They completely reversed back into bullish, and you just kind of continued on as is right here. So you would have started right here on the 14th and stayed into that trade until the 6/15, which would have been June 15th. So you're in that trade for 2 full months. So that's a really good move. You gotten out of the trade. Very next day, you would have gotten back into it. Had a couple trailing golden bar stops in here, but they would have kept you back in that trade at that point, and then you're back out. So as you can tell, this definitely does work with all futures, forex, stocks, ETFs. Let's actually do a good test and change this over from daily to a 10-minute chart. Wait for that to load. Okay, so let's just go off this very last move that we had. So this would have been today, 8:50 in the morning. We had an entry based on the strong bullish trend and colors on the chart. And then we had quite a good move up here. Had a little bit of a trailing stop at about 11:40. And then we had a tiny bit of pullback right here, and then we continued back up. Right at this point, we still would be in this particular trade. So that's how it works with the NQ on both the daily and intraday time frames. On the other side of the coin, you were down over here. Let's see how far back that one was. That was yesterday. So we had a lot of shorting down here, some trailing stops, but then eventually you would have gotten out of that particular trade right here, which would have been last night. So during your overnight trading, you would have gotten out. And then you had some neutral going on here, and then a little bit of neutral bullish, some exits, and then a really strong uptrend. So definitely a really good add-on to be using with futures, stocks, indices, ETFs, whatever it is that you trade. Were there any others? I think we've got about a minute and a half left.
I think that's it. Samet said, brilliant. Thank you very much. Data J said he actually, I'm sorry, I'm mixing up my, yeah, Samet said MetaStock is the best trading platform he's ever found.
Great. Love to hear that. It's a great platform. The reason why me and Greg have been here for so long is because we really love the software, love the people that we deal with, and obviously our customers really like it as well. So I definitely encourage you to try out the add-on. If you are a MetaStock 17 user, I did give you a special discount there. You do need to contact me directly in order to get that discount. You can call, email, or chat with me. I'll go ahead and pop back up my contact information here, so you can maybe jot this down. A side note, I know we already talked about this, Greg, but this webinar will be recorded for viewing afterwards. If you're in a different time zone and are not able to watch it live, you definitely can go through and watch it on our YouTube site, or you will also get an email from GoToWebinar to watch the recording too. But that's all I have for you. I really appreciate everybody taking some time today, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of your day. Again, I can't say thank you enough, but we'll hopefully see you soon.
Good job, Dave. You're out.